Today's film is Evil Dead Rise, which was released April 21st by director Lee Cronin, starring Lily Sullivan and Alyssa Sutherland. And Alyssa Sutherland was Princess Oslog in the Vikings. God, I hated her. Not Alyssa Sutherland. She did a good job. Princess Oslog was, ugh, she was the worst. She was insufferable. But let's talk about Evil Dead Rise. If you do not like the Evil Dead films, then I would steer clear of this one because this is as Evil Dead gets. This is a bloodbath, literally, literally a bloodbath. I'm going to talk about that in the sidebar today. It begins with the cabin in the woods, but only for a cold open, which if I had a complaint about this film, that's probably what it is because I wasted time. It shifts from the cabin in the woods to a really creepy, dilapidated apartment building, I think in LA. And so once we shifted environment, I wasted time. I couldn't really get sucked into it because I'm like, what did that have to do with what I just saw in the cabin in the woods? Like I was trying to make it work. And at the very end, they come back and wrap that up. But it left that question in my head that sort of lingered as I was watching. So that would be my complaint about the film. Otherwise, I really don't have a lot of complaints. I enjoy the Evil Dead franchise. So this was right up my alley in terms of the Evil Dead franchise. Um, we have the same thing where you find the book, and I love that because books are dangerous, books are powerful, books are magical. So I love that. And then you have people becoming possessed, and not in that. Ugh, I hate the demonic possession films. Well, first of all, I hate a demonic possession film that begins with based on a true story because you know it's just going to be stupid. It's going to be so dumb. And then you have like this person, usually a kid in a bed, like sputtering and rasping at a priest, and it's tiring. Evil Dead is just it's crazy. It's fun. There's every type of bodily harm imaginable in this one. I mean, they really just ramped it up. It's crazy, but it doesn't feel to me like torture porn in the way like maybe Hostel, and especially Hostel 2, which I hated, Terrifier, which I really didn't care for. This doesn't have that same feel because there's like a nudge wink with it, where you sort of feel like you're in on the joke of it. So it doesn't feel like so much of an assault, but it is visual. There is an incredible amount of gore involved. But I like how the Evil Dead franchise, they take this big issue, this demonic possession, but they have such a tight frame on it. And even the way, and I know there's been different directors, I'm not going to go into all that, but they all sort of do that really tight frame filming that makes you feel cornered. As I'm watching this movie, I really wanted Ativan or lorazepam. Like I really wanted an anti-anxiety. There were moments where I thought I might have a panic attack because it ramps up. But I think a big part of that is that tight shot that makes you feel like you're caught along with the characters. So again, it's incredibly gory. If that's going to turn you off, I wouldn't watch it. But if you've enjoyed the other Evil Dead films, this is a really nice addition to that universe. Really, it follows the legend of Evil Dead, so to speak, but it also adds on to it and brings different elements to it. So if you're an Evil Dead fan, this one's for you. For today's sidebar, I thought it would be fun to compare. Evil Dead Rise has a bloody elevator scene, and I thought we could compare it to the infamous bloody elevator scene of The Shining. Let's first look at The Shining, which was incredibly controversial as Kubrick used pig's blood in the film. You don't need to. You don't need to use real blood. You don't need to use animal blood. You can make synthetic blood look really, really good. Corn syrup that's dyed looks amazing, but okay, I'm just gonna I've already given away the who does it better because I hate The Shining. I really hate The Shining. But let's look at The Shining. Now let's look at the elevator scene in Evil Dead Rise, which was definitely an homage to the elevator scene in The Shining. Since I am judge and jury of this, I'm going to say Evil Dead Rise did it better. The stakes were so much higher. I know Shelley Duvall was traumatized during the filming of The Shining, but it's still, she takes me out of her fear feels acted, even though I realized she was really terrorized and terrified while she was filming. It does feel acted. It feels scarier in Evil Dead Rise. It feels real. And you've got demons trying to crawl in while you're trying to not drown in the blood. It's a lot going on. It was an intense scene. I thought it was so much better.